Well, it's still about sending more than you're selling. So if you're doing that, so if you just see how many items you sell in a week and you simply send in more items than that, then your store is going to grow. The more extreme you go, so if you are selling 5 items a week and sending in 1,000 items a week, then your sales are going to grow a lot faster. But something you have to realize is if you stay consistent in the general volume that you want to go, then your sales is going to reach that point.
He tried selling books on Amazon for 1 year, and in this video, we're going to reveal the honest results behind his business. And at the end of the video, we're going to reveal how much profit he made in the last 30 days. Welcome again to the channel, Max. If you want to break down kind of what your experience has been selling books on Amazon for 1 year and why you chose that business model.
Well, I chose the business model because, I looked at the other avenues, and you can see paths like online arbitrage, and you can see Walmart now rising, and there's a lot more capital that's involved into it. And yeah, you can make more consistent returns not going out. But something I realized from previous business ventures is I actually like going out, and I actually like seeing my results rather than buying items online and going through prep centers, and I don't physically see it and I don't physically interact with it. So it just makes it less preferable in my mind. And a big benefit of the business is there's a lot higher margins compared to online arbitrage, which may run even a 20% margin at lucky, you know?
Do you know what your last 12-month sales are off the top?
Probably in the range of $272,000.
Nice. And so what's it like in the life of a bookseller / media seller? For people?
Well, it's
they want to know the honest truth. They want to know the results.
It's definitely not clean hands. The other models, for example, you have clean hands, but something you realize is if you go out and go cherry pick, this is definitely something that many people encounter is their hands are going to be dusty, they're going to be gray, they're going to be dirty. And yeah, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. And that's just a cost of doing business. If you're willing to give that up and give the idea of essentially being a nice old lady knitting in the background with clean hands and clean cars, then it might be for you.
Yeah. But if you put the work in, it'll work out. That's the thing I like about this business. And I remember like some of the hardest physical labor I've done is in the book business, like lifting 140-pound boxes of books. And I was outside this library, and we were just dumping these boxes into a dumpster because we were cleaning the library out. We were scanning the books that were good on Amazon. The ones that weren't, we'd put in a recycling dumpster, and a recycler bought it from us. But like, I think that's got to be top 5. One of the hardest physical things I've done, like in terms of like a days of work, is just picking up 140-pound old books and just dumping them in. So it's definitely more like labor intensive. A lot of people want to run businesses that they don't ever see the products. But the thing about this business is like, if you follow it step by step, you go to the thrift stores, you go to the libraries, scan the books, you'll get results. So you've done over 200,000 in sales. Last 30 days, you've done 61,000 in sales. Do you want to break down kind of like you're buying books that are on average about, you said $14 is your average sales price?
Yeah. So my average sales price probably runs about $14, $15. It's definitely lower than what many sellers do, but it also devalues your time, like I said previously. And it can hurt in that way, because if you're trying to have a job that makes $100 an hour, you're going to need to be finding really good books and probably not processing the dollar profit books.
Yeah. And so you're going out about 3 or 4 days a week sourcing, and then you have your employees. You want to talk about that? You've actually hired people to list for you.
Yeah. So I have folks that actually go in and they get all the stuff in, and they simply have to spend the time of going through and listing everything. And it gives me more time to go out and thrift. I know I thrift 3 or 4 days a week, but I'd be working 7 days a week if I had to actually list everything.
And you're doing this while you're in college and working a job too.
Working 2 other jobs as well, and
yeah,
it definitely allows me to get time for other things as well, and I can actually go out and do escape rooms and have all the fun activities of a young kid that I probably should be doing, but I'm dealing in books instead, and I enjoy it more, in my opinion.
Yeah. What are a few things people need to know? They're scrolling on YouTube right now. They're looking at drop shipping. They're looking at selling on eBay. They're looking at online arbitrage. What differentiates books from everything else? And, what kind of person is this fit for?
Well, there's 2 answers to that. If you're looking to stay in books for the short term, because this is definitely a great avenue to bounce off of to go into many other avenues. Like I've seen Rakin do eBay to Amazon
Yep.
DVD flipping, and there's many different ways to go about it and jump your business to almost kickstart it. It provides great revenue in the door, and if you're wanting to stay in it for the long term, you just need to understand that this physical labor is going to be something that's either going to get more if you do more, or it's going to do less if you do less. And I know there's ways to mitigate that effect. Like I know folks who instead of doing 50-pound boxes, they go down to 40 or even 30-pound boxes when shipping out at a time, and that provides ease. But I've seen even people say if you do it for a long time, it's not really the greatest for your back and your health. So it's just finding ways to mitigate potential damage. It's almost like working in construction or construction adjacent.
Yeah, I wrestled in college, so like for me it was, and I did landscaping and then books. So for me it was just kind of like the same thing, you know, as I've always done. All right, let's break down your profit, man. I'll pop up the screenshot somewhere on the screen here of your go-to lister, and it says 22,000 profit. Of course, we have to subtract long-term storage fees, inbound shipping, because go-to lister doesn't factor that in yet. So you're probably around 19,000 profit the last 30 days. But yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that and how you got to that point of doing 61,000 in sales, around 20,000 net?
Well, it's still about sending more than you're selling. So if you're doing that, so if you just see how many items you sell in a week and you simply send in more items than that, then your store is going to grow. The more extreme you go, so if you are selling 5 items a week and sending in 1,000 items a week, then your sales are going to grow a lot faster. But something you have to realize is if you send a constant amount of items in a week, then your sales will eventually average out and adjust to it. So if you're selling 20 items a week and you want to get up to 30 items a week, if you just keep sending in 30 items a week, eventually your sell-through is going to reach up with it, and you're going to eventually get to 30 items a week. So if you stay consistent in the general volume that you want to go, then your sales is going to reach that point.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the channel, brother. I fully endorse your consignment business, which we talked about in previous videos. But if you want to briefly mention that, by the way, Mike the Used Book Guy also supports his consignment business. And I kind of feel like I'm passing the baton off to the youngster here, because I used to have a consignment business myself, and now he's selling media for the community. So if you guys want to send him, random off gated products, you don't want to deal with getting ungated, Max is your guy.
Yeah, if you have brands that you aren't even able to ungate for, like Sony or Disney, that's something that you can monetize off of. For example, I was just going through a stack of DVDs today, and I found a $30 Disney DVD, and unfortunately, most sellers now, they simply either buy it and they have to pocket that $2 loss that they pay for it, or they can either monetize it or throw it on eBay, which takes maybe 10 times as long. And another fun group is there's really random brands. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to spend 100 units getting ungated from Beachbody, because there's not that many Beachbody DVDs to warrant spending the thousands of dollars on an invoice to get ungated from it. So you also save money there. It's just money earned in the long term, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. So go check him out, guys. I'll link his Discord and everything else below. And if you have questions for him on Facebook, if you're in the Go-To Lister Facebook community, you can also reach out to Max there. Thank you, Max.